definitely are a big part of that. I would believe, Melissa. They help you run the team.
Yes.
So Melissa consistently 40 plus million a year all the time with her team. Really impressive. And we are so lucky today. She is here sharing her secrets about how she goes about a listing presentation. So Melissa, the mic is yours. You can take over from here. And if you need to share your screen, you don't know how to, maybe Nick or Melissa can help you how to do that.
Nope, I got it.
Okay.
Can you see it?
Awesome. We can see it.
All right. Yeah. So basically, I know everybody has different things that they do. So today I'm just going to talk about where I have an actual listing appointment and I'm going to the appointment. And maybe haven't seen the home at all, which is normally the case if someone is calling us, or if it's a friend, family, you know, of course you've seen the home and know about it. But this is more of a situation where you get a listing appointment and you're going to the home. And this is, again, this is, you know, a long listing presentation. As many of us know now, sometimes I'll walk into a home and if I already know the people, I don't even need a listing presentation. This would be a situation where I don't know the people, I haven't seen the home, and this is the listing presentation guide that I use. You can take, you know, all of it, some of it, whatever, and apply it to your needs and, you know, maybe get some little tidbits, you know, on each slide that would be helpful for you. I think the most important thing before you even have the listing appointment is to find out as much as you can from the seller or sellers. And sometimes you would like to maybe drop off like a pre-listing packet to them. Some people think that's old school. Some people think that's very helpful. Again, you kind of have to get to know the person, which I feel is a huge priority before you even go to the house and kind of establish the relationship with them over the phone to see what might be useful for them. Some people may like you to drop off something at the house so they can review it before you get there. Some people, they might be so busy and so overwhelmed that they would prefer just for you to go over everything with them before when you get there. So this is the first page. We have a, you know, just a bunch of different pictures on here right now, but I know most of you who have, you know, listened to other agents talk about their presentations. It's really nice if you can personalize this page and put a picture of their house or a couple of pictures of their house. You know, if you drive by and take a picture of the front, or you can, you know, find it in previous listings. I know we're not allowed to use some of those for advertising, but if you're just putting it on here as, you know, a cute little picture, whatever. But that brings me to one of my steps that I do prior to the appointment. I go back and look at their house, pull up the tax records, try and find everything I can about the house before I go there. So I'm very knowledgeable of things that they may not even know that they need to be telling me, but I can discuss with them during the listing presentation. And some of those things would be look at the prior listings and MLS if it's been on the market before. Look at the pictures to see if you can get an idea of what it looked like, find out if they've, you know, done any updates to it, upgrades, new roof, new HVAC, anything that, you know, might be helpful in you determining the value. Also, you know, some of the things that are important that people don't address is like the the well and the septic. You want to see if they're on a well and septic so that you can basically not just interview for the listing, but let them know how knowledgeable you are about certain things that they wouldn't have thought about. So well, septic, find out, you know, the condition of it. Has the septic been pumped recently? This is, you know, good questions that you can ask them at some point during the listing presentation that may apply to them, that they may need to do before they even list the home so they don't run into some huge problems during the contract period. So right now, I don't know if, you guys have been seeing this, but some of, the 3 or 4 biggest things other than, financing or appraisal issues, but things with the home could be the condition of the well, the condition of the septic, or, the septic permit. They don't even have it or don't even know where it is, but you want to try and dig that up and find it to make sure certain things, like did it perk for a 3-bedroom, and they're thinking they can list their home for a 4-bedroom house. Crawl space, you want to make sure that they have been in their crawl space recently, that it's nice and cleaned out, that the vapor barrier is completely covering the ground. So again, this is just the work that we do ahead of time, so we not only can hopefully win the listing when we're there, just because of everything that's going to be in this presentation, but the knowledge that you have of the house and the things that you'll be talking to with them that some agents may not even think about at that time. So again, making sure you're prepared, having their photo on here, and then knowing your stuff before you get there is first and foremost. Then this is what to expect during my listing presentation. So this might be something where you're going to go over this at the time, or if you're dropping off a pre-listing package, this will give them information, that you're going to be asking. I'm not sure what these blue marks are. Anybody see those and where they came from? Anyway.
Yeah, that was sorry, I was messing with my edits and like I did it. I wasn't meaning to. I didn't even know you guys could see it too. I was like, oh my goodness, so hopefully they can't see that.
Oh yeah, don't worry about it. I'll get with you.
Yeah, I have no clue.
Messing up my presentation.
So sorry.
Don't worry about it. All right, so these are things, and again, I always look over my listing presentation before I go too, so I'm, familiar with what's in my own listing presentation. And then I'll ask them some of these questions. A lot of times people expect for you to be there an hour or so. Sometimes it may take longer, especially for people that don't know that much about their home, or especially elderly clients where they want you to spend more time with them. So also be aware of that as well. If you might need to, prepare for a 2-hour meeting with some people. I know that that's not ideal, especially if you don't know if you're going to get the listing, but some people will appreciate the more time you spend. So what to expect during my listing presentation, those are the questions that I ask them. Just, go through it quickly. And these are all questions that I would ask them there, or even wait until after I know for sure that I get the listing. So, you have to tweak it to the person's needs and your own. This isn't going to be a listing presentation that you're going to do for every single person. Just, know what slides you need to take with you, what slides you can skip, what slides you might not need for later. But this will help you, even if you're just asking them questions before the listing appointment. And you can ask them all of this so that you're able to, again, have more information on them so that you can do a better presentation for them when you're there. So, some of these questions: why are you moving? Do you need to move within a certain time frame? How much do you want to list for? Sometimes I go ahead and ask that just so I know what expectations I need to set when I get there. What's the price you will not go below? Then, ask all of these other questions about their mortgage, things that would go into the listing agreement, and then also help you if you need to have a seller's net sheet with you for people that might think they need to list their house for a certain price, but not realize that's an unreasonable price, and they still may net more than what they even were expecting if you can go over those numbers with them. So, just all of the things that I think about when I'm getting prepared for the listing presentation. So the next slide is, we call it, tell me a little something about you and your home. So we ask them the features they like about their home, changes and updates that are needed to sell their home. What updates and changes would you want to make, and approximately what amount are you willing to spend? So then that way you can have that, up front before. I usually go over a lot of this before I even tour the home. That way I have in my mind, okay, they've already told me this, so I don't need to tell them something that they already know. A lot of people want to go through the house first, but I feel you need to sit down or, have a conversation with them before you even get there about a lot of this stuff. So you're not wasting their time or even offending them for certain things where it might be completely cluttered and they don't think it is, but you'll just be able to know if they say, oh, I don't think anything is needed to my home. Okay, well, when you get there and you realize there's a lot needed, you already know their expectations and your expectations and how to handle that based on their personality and what you've learned about them. Then the next slide, this is where we talk about me and our team, what we do for them. We talk about the commitment that we have to them. And I'm not going to read all of this to you. If anybody wants this, I'll send it to Bill and you can have all of it. And it'll be in a PowerPoint or Keynote. That way you can edit it. You can have this whole thing. At EXP, that's what we're all about, sharing so we're all successful. So I'm not going to read everything, but that way you can just kind of see what's in here. We talk about the commitment to you, and you can look at the way it's worded, tweak it however you want. Communication and negotiation. We talk about, a little bit about my background here. And then we have another slide that talks about the team, but I talk about my experience before I became a real estate agent, what I did as, a claims litigation unit manager, how I was trained to work with defense attorneys. That's all I did was work with them on negotiations, go to court, try to handle large loss and death claims, things like that. So they know about my background, which I feel is so important. If you have a background like that, that could be helpful. Then we talk about clients for life. Like our goal is basically to be able to be with them, not only just during the transaction, but be there for them afterwards. And, hopefully they'll refer us to other people. And then just a little bit of personal information, not too much, just so they know how long I've lived here, a little bit about me, but again, not too much. I just like to throw some of that in so they know some stuff about me. Then this talks about why Chambers and Associates Realty Team, powered by EXP. We talk about the technology that we have, the platforms that we have, everything that's available to us that, sets us apart from other people, especially, the cloud-based real estate company, how we have access to so many people and connections and technology. We feel it's so important, which I just discussed a minute ago, is teamwork and how, this company was designed to reward agents for working together. So, if there's somebody else out there that can help us sell their home, then they're going to want to do it, regardless of even if they have a buyer. That we have some agents who are willing to do open houses, post the MIYO listings out there that's not even theirs, trying to help their home get sold. Again, even if they don't have a buyer, because anybody who makes a sale, it helps us all. I talk about knowledge, just how, with our state of the art training and the cloud and all of that, and everybody that we have that keeps us ahead of the trends, just like our entire company, the way we are set up, that we try and find industry leading training, resources, anything that we can to put us ahead. And we're going to use that to provide amazing service to these clients and then also to sell their homes. Basically thinking outside the box, or there's no box at all. Reliability, we talk about trust and honesty, and that doing the right thing for our clients and always putting their needs first is a top priority. And then track record, we just talk about this a little bit, like when we offer the superior level of service that we do, then the word spreads fast. And that's why our team is proud to be recognized in this area as the top 20 women in real estate in the Lake Norman area. So, that sets us apart too. And so if you have any accolades like that that you can mention, I mean, being in the top 20 LKN women in real estate, I mean, that's huge. So if you have something like that that you can, make sure you're mentioning during your presentation too, you want the people to know that, because sometimes they're not asking the right questions for their agents. Like how long they've been in the business, how many homes have they sold, do they know the neighborhood? Those are things you want to talk about, but also, things that you've accomplished as well that would set you apart from other agents that are coming in. So then we go to services we offer. We talk about communication, how we communicate constantly. It can be email, text, phone. You kind of want to know your client. So again, some of the older people, they want to talk to you. I think a lot of agents right now, they basically text and email a lot. And sometimes the agents that lose clients, even after they've signed on with them, it could be because they don't know their client, and that client might want a phone call. And I know that takes longer, but again, you need to know that and make sure that they're aware that if you like to talk on the phone more and that makes you feel more comfortable, make sure you make a note of that and you're letting them know that you're available by phone, whenever they need you. Experience and expertise. We just talk about, the complexity of the real estate transaction sometimes, and how, our main goal is smoothing it out for them and being able to see potential challenges before they even occur. And so they may say, well, what do you mean by that? That would be something where I would touch on what we talked about in the beginning, is making sure their crawl space doesn't have a bunch of water in it and the vapor barrier is all torn and the insulation is hanging down. Looking in their attic to make sure you don't see daylight or snake skins, in little crawl space areas, or in the attic you see a bunch of bat glom or, rat droppings, things like that, that you could have saved them the trouble of, that could kill a deal during the inspection. So those are the things that I kind of talk to them about. Also, making sure we're talking to the buyer's agent about, the situations now with COVID, and that they're doing, confirming employment right before closing now, like getting to know more about the buyers who are purchasing their home, that a lot of the agents don't do. Like they'll get multiple offers. We have the pre-approvals, whatever, but there's things that we could be looking into a little bit further as far as, their financing and who they're going through, and can I talk to that lender? A lot of times, like the buyer's lenders now are calling the listing agents because they want them to know that they're available 24/7. This is a very strong buyer. If that buyer's lender is willing to have a conversation with you, that again would be another way for you to address potential challenges during that contract period where you're going over and above some other agents, just to make sure, even though that might be the highest offer, it might be the worst buyer. And you could basically be able to find that out before they even sign the contract. Marketing, we talk about, all the exposure that it gets. I know we all do, pretty much the same thing. We just talk about something that might make us a little bit different, and it's very cost effective. So this could help you guys during your presentation. We will mention all of the normal stuff that we do, putting flyers in the neighborhood mailboxes if we're allowed to, like in the marketing thing, or we even have Cole Realty where we're able to find out, all of the emails and phone numbers for people in that neighborhood. So we can even do an email blast to people in that particular neighborhood and just say, we just listed this home. Let us know if you have family or friends looking to move into your neighborhood. So we'll do stuff like that. again, this is a lot of information and you don't want to overwhelm the seller. So just, pick the bits and pieces that'll work for you. The other thing that we do is on Facebook right now, whenever we have a new listing, we will do a Facebook boost, and it doesn't cost that much. We'll boost it to Florida, California, Northeast region, just because we know there's so many people that are moving to our area in those states. So we let them know, that's money that we're spending out of our pocket to reach even more buyers than just the ones that will see it in our MLS system or the ones looking, on Zillow. We talk about pricing a little bit, staging, you want a great presentation. So we talk to them a lot about, our services that we offer for free, which is in this next slide. But one of the things that we try to explain to the sellers, especially those who feel like, well, do we really need to clean off our entire bathroom counter, or do we really need to take all of this stuff out of this room, or take all this stuff off of our fireplace mantle, things like that. We explain to them that, most people who are looking at homes right now are looking on their phone. So they're looking at a teeny little picture on their phone. So if you have a lot of stuff all over your mantle, or all over the floor in the bedrooms, or in your shower, in your bathroom, on the counter, closets, whatever, even though homes sell like the minute they're on the market here, you still want to maximize the number of people who are wanting to put in an offer on that home, so they get multiple offers or the highest price possible. And by making sure we keep their attention the first time they see that home and they're going through the photos, we want to keep them going through all the photos and keep going. And it also makes the rooms look more true to size if it doesn't have a lot of clutter in them. So you want it to look neat, clean, and they just keep going from photo to photo to photo. And they're like, oh my gosh, this is the home, and may even make an offer before they even see it, which happens a lot right now, as we know. So this is where we talk about our free services that we offer as a team. So we have staging expertise. We have someone on our team who will help them stage the home at no price, like no fee for them at all. Like it's no expense whatsoever. We have a lot of staging items, furniture. We can do a lot with what they have, or we can bring in stuff. We even have Janice on the team. She'll go room to room with them and help them declutter. So this is huge for a lot of people right now who are trying to get their house on the market quickly because maybe they found something and they had to jump on it and go under contract, but they have to sell their home as well. With Janice and even 2 or 3 people from my team, my parents, whoever we need to get in there, we'll help them declutter the homes, pack up the stuff. We will find boxes for them. We'll take stuff to the dump, to Goodwill. A lot of people will not be able to do that. But the fact that we are and we make it happen, this is huge for a lot of people that need that help. So that's one of the things that helps us stand apart. Again, we have the normal stuff that most of the agents should have: professional photographs, professional measurements, local neighborhood expertise and market analysis, full-time agents and staff working for you. I kind of hit on that just to let them know there's so many agents out there that may just have gotten their license. They have side jobs. They have, full-time jobs somewhere else, and this is their side job. So just to make sure they know we are full-time agents, that's all we do. We work 24/7, basically here for them to do everything they need. Marketing and prospecting to find buyers for your home. We talk about, we have a list of renters in the area that we've purchased. We send out new listings to them. We do reverse prospecting, which is tedious and time consuming, but it can be helpful, especially because there's so many agents out there right now in our market. And a lot of them aren't doing the extra digging for their clients. They're just waiting for their clients to say, hey, I want to go see this. But if we're reaching out to them and saying, hey, did you see this home for your client? It might be something they didn't catch because they're not really looking. Then we talk about the open house with COVID Clean Home Initiative. So a lot of people, still want to have the open houses even with COVID. So we explain to them, we have a flyer that we put on the front door that basically asks them to ring the doorbell and wait for assistance, that only 2 people are allowed in the home at a time. So this can kind of get, a little congested, especially with people, lining up down the streets. But the sellers that we've worked with, they love this because even though they may not have wanted to do an open house, some of them are letting us do an open house because of our Clean Home Initiative. And then we have the masks, gloves, booties, and all that. And then we make sure there's at least 2 or more agents or a lender or, someone else helping us inside to make sure nobody comes in while we might be upstairs and things like that. Or we'll send them to the backyard to walk around, just so we have some options and keep a good streamline going through the open house where it doesn't get too crazy. Then we talk about our step-by-step marketing plan. Again, I'm not going to read all of this to you, but we just talk about pricing the home strategically in the competitive market that we're in. So, most of the people know the market we're in, but some don't. Or even if they do know, they don't understand how ridiculously crazy it is right now and how low the inventory is. So we do talk about pricing, and there's, more slides on that, how it's so important, but it's also very difficult with certain properties. So we just talk about, what all we do to market their home. And again, this is sometimes better if they can see it or you can leave it there. But, normally the question they'll ask you is, what are you going to do to market my home? So this will be great because you have it right there. You can go through it and then leave it for them also. But we talk about, everything that we do to market the home. We talk about the open houses. We talk about, how we boost the Facebook posts, and then where all it goes in our system, that we can do something in our MIYO that sets us apart from other agents, where we can have, so many agents marketing their home, not just us, which is great as well, and puts them in front of so many buyers, worldwide, honestly, because we have so many agents everywhere that might have buyers wanting to come to this area. Bill, how long did you want me to talk?
Keep going, Melissa. You're doing great. Let's try the next 12 minutes. How's that?
Oh yeah, we got it. All right. So then taking open houses beyond the basics, at Keller Williams, we learned this. At other places, that you guys may have worked with other firms, it's the same thing. So we just kind of tell them about the open houses and things that we can do to even, go just beyond putting the sign in the yard and being there. Like, we'll do the virtual tours. We talk about our Clean Home Initiative. We talk about the sign-in sheet. We talk about that we also put the flyers out to neighbors too. We'll door knock if we have to, not necessarily during COVID, but whatever we have to do, we're going to market the open house anywhere and everything, anywhere we can. Then I don't know why, I've just always liked this slide because it talks about, there were like 4 or 5 myths, but these 2 I really like, so I kept in our presentation. So myth number 1, it does not matter which real estate agent lists your home. So this slide basically says it is critically important who represents you in the marketing and the sale of your home. So it'll talk about, you want to work with a group who's willing to spend the time and money to sell your home. You want an agent with experience, education, and resources to anticipate problems, get them resolved, and continue moving towards a smooth and successful closing. So in today's market, when so many people are reducing their commission or saying they can get them top dollar, I like to let the people know that just because an agent is coming in and reducing their commission doesn't mean that that's going to be the best agent. Like, a lot of times I've heard people say, well, I'm going to go with the agent who's going to list my house for the highest price and cut their commission so I can get more money because I could sell the home myself. Well, what they don't understand is, okay, well, maybe they could, but there's a lot of stuff that they don't anticipate throughout the transaction. So, okay, sure, it may be easy to get the house sold and maybe any agent could get it sold, but the most important part of the process is what happens after the house is under contract that can make or break the deal for them. And that could cost them thousands of dollars. So even though they're paying an agent less commission, they're not guaranteed to get the highest price. And then what if there's a lot of stuff that happens during the contract that costs them more money that another agent could have saved them? So I always tell them it does matter which agent lists your home. Myth number 2, you should select the agent who states he or she can get you the highest price for your home. So the truth is, select a broker based on their credentials and recommendations. Market value dictates price. We will provide you with a written, well-searched market analysis to determine a realistic range of what is selling in today's market. Then you are involved in deciding on the sales price of your home. So, again, that goes back to kind of the myth number 1. It's not going to be all about who can sell it for the highest price. So I try to touch on that a little bit and just say, you may have another broker who comes in here and says, they'll list your house for $550,000, and I'm telling you it should be $525,000. But what if the entire process is a terrible process for you? You didn't do your research. You don't know much about the agent. You haven't looked at recommendations and reviews for that agent. And then, they may not get you the 550 because they overprice it even in today's market. And then you have a transaction where you're working with an agent who really didn't tell you, what you needed to know, the truth up front about the price of your home or some things that needed to be done. They just wanted to get the listing because they knew you wanted to sell it for 550, which may not be realistic. So you just want to be prepared for those conversations. Why is pricing so important in today's market? So this is a really important slide right now during COVID. You guys can take a screenshot. I don't know if you can see it unless I move everybody over here, but take a screenshot of it, or we'll send it to you. But we updated this slide, and it still needs some tweaking with spacing, which we'll do before we send to you. But this is one of the things that I feel I spend the most time talking to people about right now in this crazy market, where before, underpricing your home was a strategy for people to get multiple offers and get, thousands of dollars more for your house. We try to explain to them that underpricing your home right now, it's not necessarily needed. Like, you just need to price your home what you feel it's worth or even more, and you're likely still going to get multiple offers and more. But we talk about how underpricing your home isn't really the best strategy in today's market, because it could be a red flag for an appraiser who sees that, okay, the list price of the house was $250 and they're getting $275,000 for the house. There was obviously multiple offers, and they may take more time looking at that, and the appraisal may come in low. Whereas if you would have just priced it right or even a little bit over in today's market, you're not going to get, red flags from the appraisers. Also, we talk about overpricing the home, and the reason that works in this market, especially when some people are willing to pay more than the appraised value. So again, if you're doing your homework, doing everything you need to know about the buyers ahead of time, some buyers will say they're willing to pay, certain amount over the appraised value, or even do an addendum for that. But they have the due diligence period, as we all know, where they can back out for any reason or no reason at all. So they can say that in their offer, but we also need to explain to sellers sometimes, that doesn't mean that that's still going to be the best buyer. We would need to make sure that they could financially do that, or legitimately were going to do that. So again, more conversation is needed. And then the downside of overpricing the home too much could be if the appraisal does come in low, which we're still seeing in today's market, not much as we usually do, but we are now, that we need to explain to the seller, like if you have an agent who's in here and they're wanting to overprice your home and it doesn't appraise, then you've got a huge decision to make. And that decision could affect you negatively in so many ways, especially if you have to sell that home in order to purchase another home. And if they're under contract for a home where the other agent was overpricing their home and they were thinking they were going to net a lot more, they could be in a financial constraint to purchase that new home thinking, oh, I'm going to get a lot more for my home than I thought. Or, the buyer who said they were going to pay above the appraised value doesn't. So then now they could possibly be getting less for their home, or be in a situation where they could lose a home they're under contract for. So we just want to talk about why pricing is so important in this market, and the things that we think about and do when pricing a home. Pricing your property and commission. Some people, want to talk about this to their sellers, or their sellers are asked for it. We just talk about the market analysis and how that works. What we do, this could be a good time to present the seller estimated net sheet to them if they were wanting it. How commission is divided. We put 6%, 3%, that could be old news now. You don't even have to put that in there. Again, you can tweak it. But one of the things we like to make sure they understand when they say, what's your commission? We do say what the commission is, but we also make sure they understand we're not making 6% commission on their sale. Like everybody thinks, oh, real estate agents make bank on my house. I just paid her $25,000 to sell my house. Well, no, you didn't. You paid me, 6%, but then I give, the buyer's agent, whatever, 2.5%, 3%. But I also make sure they know that, that's still not what I make. I paid the photographer, the guy who comes in and does our measurements, people on my team, our assistants. We have office expenses, marketing, MLS dues, education, training. Again, some of these are just notes for you guys, just so they don't feel like, well, if you want an objection for them where they're like, well, I have some other agents who are, going to do it for 5%. You want to be prepared, again, to let them know the value that you're going to bring, even if another agent is able to do it for less. That doesn't mean that they're going to be paying all of these other things for them, so they've got to ask that too. Are you going to do professional photography? Are you available 24/7? Are you going to do open houses? And, how many people are available to me? Just, things, again, just notes. All right, I'm going to try and wrap it up quickly. Preparing your home for sale. We just like to have this slide just so if you need to print, certain pages, this is a good one to give them. So, they just know, like, did you know well-placed furniture can open rooms and make them seem larger? Again, that is why we declutter. Opening window blinds and turning on all lights makes rooms seem bright and cheery. So then this just talks about the exterior, interior, and what to do before showings, just to have, a little information. Even, you get the listing and you want to leave this for them and give them, the packet of some of these things. Closing 101. This just talks about the closing process and things that, they'll need to have, what they can expect, what the seller normally pays, after closing, what documents they need to keep. So, again, just a little bit of helpful information that other people may not give them. Moving checklist. This is just something we leave for them so they can have like a little checklist that would be helpful for them. And then what my clients say. So then this is where we put our testimonials, any of our reviews. So we just put that there. If you want to have 1 page, 2 pages, whatever, it's really good to have that in there. And then the last page, just basically telling them thank you for allowing me to meet with you, talk about your home, and share with you why my team and I would be the best choice for you. So that's it. That's the listing presentation. That's how we go about doing everything. One of the things that we do to try to set ourselves apart is when we go to a listing appointment, we will take like a little gift bag to the sellers, and it'll be marketing items. So the things that we do, we try to do things that they will use on a daily basis and have out and about. And we did research on that, and we thought, well, koozies will be one of the first ones, in the top 5, but they're not actually. Like, they kind of go in a drawer and people take them out whenever. So we do things like coffee cups. We do hand sanitizer right now. We'll make sure, we have, if there's 2 sellers, we'll do 2 coffee cups, 2 hand sanitizers. We have like a little mint and chapstick combo that people absolutely love. So we tape measure, things like that people are going to have out a lot, and we'll put it in that bag. So let's say, they didn't pick us, which would be unfortunate, but they pick another agent and that agent does a terrible job for them. And within 30 days, they're wanting to terminate. And maybe they thought that agent was the deal. They're not even going to consider anybody else. They threw away all of your listing package and presentation stuff, and they couldn't remember your name, because they were so overwhelmed. Well, our strategy is they'll have our coffee cups, they'll have our hand sanitizer, they'll have our mints and chapsticks. So that's a good way too. You never know what's going to happen, but they'll have that stuff there and be like, oh wait, I remember, she's the one that gave us the coffee cups or the mints or whatever, and pull it out, and there's our number right there.
Melissa, great job. Really thorough. Awesome job on the presentation. We appreciate you taking the time.
We got to thank MD for that. She's the good tech person, but I'm happy to share this with anybody.
Birthday girl, good job. I'm going to go through just a few things before people ask you some questions that really stuck out to me. I like it that you drop off a pre-listing packet. I like that a lot. Melissa, if I have the time, I try to go and view the home and then come back in a couple of days, but we always don't have the time for that, Right. But I love what you do with a listing packet. I like when you say, please share something about you and your home, so you get to connect with them a little better. I really like the idea of the social media boost out of state. I never heard of that before. That is really good. And that's a great pitch or hook you can tell a potential seller.
Right.
Also, never heard of, hey, guess what? I have my own room-to-room decluttering person. They're going to come over and help you.
I don't know if Denise is on here, but she'll vouch for that. And the
That
stuff
is
we have
awesome.
found, the stuff we have had to clean. Oh my gosh.
Now, I assume that you're just going over there, someone on your team, and saying, we need to take this stuff down. And she takes it down. She's not like packing, wrapping, and marking boxes for their move, is she?
Okay, so if we have to, we will do that. And we've had my parents there helping as well.
Wow.
I know.
They got to pay rent, right? They're moving in, right?
Well, that's my other parents. I've got
Okay.
2 sets of parents, a mom and a stepdad and a dad and a stepmom. So I've got 4 sets of parents now. So I've got 2 more people coming to help pack.
Wow. Yeah. Melissa, you told me that actually like a year ago that you did that. And that is impressive. I would hire someone, but have it in-house, I've never heard of that either. That's great.
Good stuff. Hey, listen, before we move on, okay, and hang up here today, anyone that wants to reach out and ask Melissa any questions right now, please feel free to unmute yourself and ask any questions you want. And don't be shy.
I have a question unless somebody else does. I got a quick
Go
one.
ahead, Big John.
Melissa, you said you create a post, a Facebook post, and you boost it. Use the word post. Do you actually I just wanted to kind of clarify, do you actually just do it as a boost, or do you run an ad?
So Melissa will answer that question because she does all that.
Yeah, we have actually been boosting it into different areas. So I've been doing a lot of research on Facebook and finding groups that are looking for different areas to move to. And so we try to go in and target those areas.
Okay. All right. But it's a boost. You're not running an ad in those areas. You're correct.
No, not yet.
No, but we could do that. These
Yeah.
boosts have worked out really well though. And if you want to call me and we'll call Melissa, but, but if you need Melissa's information, reach out to Bill or Nick, and she can even help you guide through it. Cause it's really like, it's inexpensive and we'll get people's information, like clicking on stuff.
Cool.
Hey, MD, can you do me a favor? Could
Yeah.
you make sure you forward me this presentation so I can share it with anyone who wants it?
Absolutely. And I put my email in there. It's md@chambersrealtyteam.com. So if anybody wants to reach out to me as well, I can send that over, but I will forward it to you.
Thank you.
Hey,
I have a question.
go ahead, Michelle.
Yeah, so I know you had mentioned a couple of times, like for certain sellers, you'll do this listing presentation. Are there times, because I know there are times when I don't do formal listing presentations, like for example, the listing that I just picked up now, like I've been working with her for months, and we've been working on like the, just getting the house ready. So, and when we went there, she was still like getting the house ready, and there was actually nowhere to like sit. And I kind of just like ran through some things, basically just went and listed it, like just told her what, kind of read off what was on the paperwork that we're going through.
Yeah. And
that was really informal, but yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, so there have been many a times, especially friends or family, where they're not even interviewing agents. So I don't even take that. I don't even need it. But I do refer back to it and look through my notes in case there's some pages I want to print off for them that would be helpful for them, like the checklist and the closing 101, just so they have it. Even though we have a transaction coordinator who sends them emails, sometimes they like to just have that where they can see it and then check stuff off. But also, it could be helpful for people if you're looking back through stuff, just even if it's like a no-brainer, I've got this listing, it might help you remember some notes you need to take or copy and paste some stuff from this to give to your seller, and also remind yourself like, okay, I need to go in the attic, I need to go in the crawl space, I need to ask them about the septic and well, certain things that you'll need to talk to your sellers about that you don't want to run into any issues with them beforehand. And even walking their property, seeing if they have a recent survey, so there aren't issues that come up with a survey. So again, even when you're like, wow, this was a easy win for me, no, I just got it and put my sign in the yard, you still want to remember there's a lot of important stuff you want to be aware of before you get that listing live.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
I have a quick question.
Sure.
So what is your advice to a new agent who's never done a presentation before?
So my advice would be to get as many listing presentations as you can from, all of the agents on here. Go into impact groups, see if anybody wants to email you their listing presentation, and just read over all of them and try to get, the PowerPoints, or if you're on a Mac, Keynote, however you want to do it, and maybe take bits and pieces from each one and then make it to the way that you feel like, okay, this is going to work for me because Melissa's had too much information for me, or this didn't apply to me or my seller, but this could apply. And sometimes I'll have multiple listing presentations and I'll move around slides or whatever. But one thing I would say that would be number one on your list is to ask some agents who have been in the business for a long time if you can shadow them. So last week I had a listing appointment, and one of the new agents with EXP, she reached out and asked if I had any listing appointments, could she tag along? So she went to the listing appointment with me. And so as many of those as you can go to, I would highly recommend that.
And Michelle, copy. Listen, our listing presentations are not copyrighted. So copy all you want, like Melissa said, go through, 5 or 6 different ones and take a little bit from each one and develop your own.
Practice with a buddy, Eileen, too. It's gotta be a buddy, gotta be somebody in here that is willing to hear you. So practice and go over it with somebody, a little role playing.
Hey,
Right.
The practice in the mirror, that works for me a lot, is a practice in the mirror. That's what Heidi taught me and it worked.
yeah, and Eileen, I got to echo what Melissa said too, because I was talking with my guy, Dwayne Turner, earlier this morning about teams and just the importance of having your team. I mean, even as a new agent, you have a team, right? And you can mention, like, you're working with John Smith and he's the lender on it. Great. He's part of your team. You have, Bill and I and Melissa and everyone here, we're part of your team. We're part of your group. And Melissa mentions the Facebook groups, MIYO and all that stuff. I mean, even as a new agent, the word team and using the word we as much as possible, we will do these things for you. That is so important for new agents, and that will help give you a lot more legitimacy. It helped me with getting my first couple listings. So now when I go into appointment, that's all I talk about is how, it's not just me, it's my team and how we are going to get your house sold for the most money in the fewest amount of days. So
Great point, Nick.
Great
Thank
point.
you.
Awesome stuff. Awesome stuff. Bill, anything else before we wrap up and see everyone Wednesday?
No, listen, Melissa, MD, Erica, thank you so much again. Very well prepared. Great presentation, Melissa. We're providing a free value to everyone. And that's why we have agents, of your stature that, we formed this group to help everyone. It's really, really important that we give back. We all been so blessed with our own levels of success. So we appreciate you guys. And Wednesday, we have Sylvia Gauze has a special guest coming on. She is an accountant and she is also a realtor. Sylvia, you still there or did I lose you? We might have lost Sylvia.
I'm here. I'm
She's
sorry.
there.
You want to just give a little rundown of your friend who's coming on Wednesday?
Yeah. So Corinne has been a realtor for I think about 10 years, but obviously she didn't really practice. Her focus mainly is on her tax business. That's her true focus. So she is what do you call it? An EA advisor. I'm not sure of those terms, but she is local. She's in the university area and she's going to provide some good information for everyone.
Yeah, I think she's going to share with everyone, we have options out there. We can put everything to personally, LLC, S Corp, some things you can write off, some things you can't. There'll be a lot of good information. It'll be fun. So we'll see you guys Wednesday. And thanks for coming out for the call. You guys have a great, productive day.
Thank you.
Bye,
Bye.
Bye, guys.
everybody.
Have a great day. Happy Monday.
Happy Monday.